We begin this hour with the latest on the race for the White House. Joe Biden sounding confident when it comes to his re-election hopes.
That's despite new polling that puts him behind former President Donald Trump in a rematch.
Right, Peter Doocy noticed that. He's at the White House with more and his Q&A yesterday.
And it all started because we've realized President Biden barely talks about Donald Trump, ever. But we are now within a year of the election, and Donald Trump is the Republican frontrunner. So President Biden went to an event last night in Chicago area, a closed-door fundraiser, and he said, since I took on Trump, we haven't stopped winning, and he hasn't stopped losing. There are some liberals, though, on TV who are not so sure.
The Biden-Harris coalition could be called the Humpty Dumpty coalition right now, just falling apart. Just falling apart. The Latino vote on the ground, the youth vote on the ground, the black vote on the ground. This is not good.
The Biden campaign is pushing back on that. Despite the hair on fire, sky is falling tone we've seen from media coverage over the last few days, political predictions more than a year out tend to be a little different a year later. Joe Biden has been counted out time and time again and proved pollsters and pundits wrong. His problems are laid out in this New York Times poll. You've got Nevada, Trump plus 10. Georgia, Trump plus 6. Arizona, Trump plus 5. Michigan, Trump plus 5. Pennsylvania, Trump plus 4. The New York Times columnist Charles Blow is writing, it is ridiculous to ask people to ignore the erosion of Biden's support among demographic groups that he must secure to win re-election. I sense a growing dissatisfaction with Biden, particularly among young minorities, and the war in Gaza is only making it worse. So we had a chance yesterday to ask the president about exactly this. Why do you think it is that you're trailing Trump in all these swing state polls?
Because you don't read the polls out. There are 10 polls. 8 of them I'm beating him in those states. 8 of them. You guys only do 2. CNN and New York Times. Check it out. Check it out. We'll get you a copy of all those polls.
Okay? You don't believe you're trailing in battleground states?
No, I don't.
And true to his word, the president and his team, they got us a copy of those polls that they were talking about. But when you look at them, they are national polls, and 4 of them are three-way polls that give Biden the lead over Trump when RFK Jr. is on the ballot. Back to you.
Wow. So get this straight. Mike LaRosa, good friend of the Bidens, worked with Jill Biden, came out and said the re-election campaign's a mess. David Axelrod says, really think about running. And then Van Jones says, this is a train wreck. He's falling apart before our eyes. Not once did I remember, I didn't mention Karl Rove. I didn't mention a former president. These attacks are coming from inside the tent, Peter. I think it's pretty significant.
And maybe that's why President Biden was so eager to come and defend himself. You do have these attacks coming from all outside the White House, including by some former officials and people that the Bidens are close to. And we just have not seen a ton of the president lately. It's almost like, when we came into this White House, he was taking questions from reporters all the time. But we've seen less and less of him, and his approval rating has really cratered. So it's only up from here if you are Biden. And so it seemed, hopefully yesterday, him being so chatty and so forthcoming about these polls, it would be great, because we have a lot of questions and there will be a lot more polls. But maybe they are just going to let him try to make the case himself.
Peter, it's not just outside of the White House, though. There's some people that are within the White House that are saying that they feel like the president is complicit when it comes to Israel responding to the attack that happened on them. And they're openly leaking to the press about the administration strategy there. So is there any word about the White House sitting them down, talking to these staffers that don't like the president's policy right now?
We know that there have been some efforts to hear out these groups of Arab American White House staffers who, according to some of these reports, have anonymously been putting out the word that they wish President Biden would consider a ceasefire, or would be more considerate of the atrocities that are happening inside of Palestine right now, or inside of Gaza, pardon me, with Palestinians. And so, but there has not been, nobody has actually put their name on anything at the White House to complain about the Israel policy. There was one guy who worked at the State Department who resigned with a very dramatic letter explaining and outlining his problems with the administration's policies. But in terms of people at the White House, we have not heard anybody actually resign in protest. And maybe it's happened and we just don't know about it. But nobody has put their name to that.
Peter, are they grinding out a tree stump next to you? I'm getting reports.
That's exactly what they're doing. And, of course, we come out with the bad swing state polls, and suddenly a tree stump that's been there for 100 years has to come out at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, you got to follow that story throughout the day.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you, Peter.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.